It's Monday, June the 2nd, 2025. I am at Joel Pearl, thejoelpearl.com on Blue Sky. Welcome to Fightful. It is main channel Monday, and this is In the Weeds. If you've never watched us before, you're like 3 years too late. Don't know where you've been. You're clearly not watching us on our sister station. That's not TBS. That's Fightful Overbooked. You should go subscribe right now. But also, we come here at the top of every Monday, the first Monday of the month, and we take over because that's just what we do. We're a brand of nonsense. If you think Beyond the Bell makes jokes, buddy, you're in for the next 2 hours plus of absolute nonsense. Don't like us, just enjoy us.
Beyond the Bell? That show still exists?
Yeah, it depends who you talk to.
That's... Zarian shows up as much as you do, Joel.
That is fair. at least he's got an excuse. All I got is mental health. What's that? So, some dude in our comments on Friday was like, "Oh, call Dr. Phil." I was like, "Nope, don't want that either." Why would anyone want to do that? Anyway, yes, it's Monday, so here we are. Hello to the chat. Hello, Jeremy Lambert is here, as he always is. We're, by the way, a 5-day-a-week show over on our other channel at 10 a.m. Eastern. When I'm not here, it's SP3, who does a fantastic job doing everything we do here and then some. How you doing, Jeremy? It's good to have you back after a weekend.
I didn't go anywhere, Joel. It's not like I died or went on vacation or anything. That'd be something if I did die and then come back from the dead and I could do a video talking about how I lost myself and I died and I just could not be found anymore. And maybe I did die and I could throw roses on my grave and say, "The point God is back." You know, something like that. I do one of those videos, right?
You could do one of those videos, absolutely. If ever came a time when you decided that maybe Fightful is, you know, you're leaving Fightful and you're going to go work somewhere else, which honestly, let's be honest, and that's probably not going to happen. If you went somewhere else, you could absolutely do that. You could break out of the proverbial prison. I
did do one of those videos before. That was actually really good. That was a fantastic video that I did. Shout out to my lovely wife who shot that video. But
I remember this now.
That was a very good video that I did. Went to the playground, got some hoops up, went down a slide. Yeah, that was actually really good.
But you know what? I thought you were going to say that you were going to die and then you were going to go on vacation and then come back. And that would be the video. That'd be the way to do it. Listen, if you're going to act, just make sure you're a natural. Hey, by the way, Ryan Lambert mentioning our Paul London interview. If you want to see a wrestler, I swear to God, I'm not kidding you. If you want to see a wrestler feed squirrels while promoting their upcoming matches, the Paul London interview is the one you got to watch. It was glorious. It was absolute nonsense, and that's what we do. That's this channel in a nutshell. Where are we? Jeremy, we got through the weekend. It was a busy one, but it really wasn't because nothing was on TV other than SmackDown and Collision. Did you watch Collision live at 11:30 p.m. Eastern on a Saturday night?
I covered it, Joel. Yeah, I watched it live. I wrote the articles for the show. People were... I don't know what y'all are expecting. I wish I did a better job of warning y'all on Friday. But people were super mad. I'm like, look, if the Pacers win, this show might not go on until 11:30 because they got to do the championship celebration for advancing to the finals. And it's the final inside the NBA on TNT. They ain't cutting that short. Like, they're giving those guys time. Had the Knicks won, you might have gotten Collision on the air by 11 because then there would have been less to do. And tonight's episode of Inside the NBA would have been much longer. But Triple H is booking the Eastern Conference Finals, so he was not going to allow Game 7 to go up on Monday. Instead, he wanted Game 6 to go extra long, and the AEW sickos were not going to be around to watch Hechicero and Mascara Dorada at 1:30 in the morning.
But they were a good match. It was a good match. Yeah. Listen, I'll be to tell everyone I didn't watch it live. I watched it this morning, and I had a good time watching it because I was well rested enough, and got through Collision. We'll talk about that. We'll talk a little bit about SmackDown. Did you see the latest on the basketball front? The off-season talk. There's somebody who's interested in maybe talking to my Toronto Raptors.
Oh. No, I'm serious. I'm dead serious. The MVP of the NBA. I'm not making this up. For AEW Rampage, ladies and gentlemen, the Greek Freak, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Let's go.
And if he signs, that's the introduction I expect.
Where was this report at, Joel?
I don't know, probably NBA Central, not the fake one.
Oh, Toronto Star. Okay, Giannis and the Toronto Raptors reportedly have a mutual interest. Giannis doesn't want to live in Toronto.
Why not? It's a beautiful city. I love living here. This is how everyone in Toronto is going to try and pronounce his name. They give him an AEW title. He'll sign by the time All Out comes to Toronto so that they can bring him back out again in a Raptors jersey.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
I don't know about Giannis and Toronto. Toronto's got picks. They got a few young players, but they're probably not giving up Scotty Barnes, and like that's who you want. They just traded for Brandon Ingram, who's Giannis light, according to some people. Not me. I wouldn't be caught dead saying that, but former Lakers fans would be caught saying that.
It is all oots, by the way. I'm guessing that's Kate. I've been running that all out that all oots joke into the ground, and I'm sure Sean will also be doing that as the date gets closer. Louis sent a super chat. We should probably do that part, saying thank you for your service. Is that what we're talking? TYFYS?
Sure, maybe.
That's what I'm getting for it. Thank you for your service. You can donate a super chat just like Louis. It could be random letters. It could be sentences that create some sort of cohesive thought, or not. We get those too, where people just write things and expect us to understand what they're saying. We like those too. Any amount, get your super chat read on the air. Why not? Humper chats are open too today because we're on main channel, I should say. I got nothing. I'm done. Good night, everybody. And of course, you can leave a thumbs up on the video. That's the free 99 option. Go ahead, give them the thumbs up. Give them there we go. The Pyro and the Ballyhoo is back. And subscribe to this channel here at Fightful and to the sister channel I mentioned earlier. Fightful overbooked. We did it. Now we can go home and just spend the rest of our day doing nothing.
5 minutes into this show, Joel, we got a lot to talk about.
Like what? Oh, we can talk about this is pretty much something that needs to be said. Happy Pride Month. It is June. It is Pride Month, and don't let anyone ever tell you it ain't, because it is, and it rules. And go and be your authentic hella self. That's all I want. I got to give our pal Lucas some props, because Sean had posted a little thing for my birthday on the Twitter about me being the French-Canadian Swiss Army knife, and then saying, but my French isn't much. And I said, no, my French is fine. I just like to hear Lucas speak French because his accent is much better than mine. So shout out to you, Lucas.
Lucas is a good dude. Hope you're doing well, Lucas.
Mon français n'est pas si pire. Je promets.
What?
Anyway, I did have my birthday. Thank you all for the wonderful birthday wishes. My birthday was yesterday. It was a nice day. Yeah, I know. It was fine. You want to ask me about it, or should we just move on because we're not trying to kill time or anything?
What's very funny is, like, I'll ask you about your birthday on air, and then I just didn't ask. I was like, who could possibly care about Joel's birthday?
I get it.
How was your birthday, Joel?
Yeah, there you go. It was yesterday. Move on. I'm fine with that.
What do you get, like a whole weekend or a whole week? No.
I've never been the person who's like, it's my birthday month. I'm just not that person. I can't do that. Listen, shout out to you if you're that person. I just don't. It's not for me.
You don't get a month for your birthday. It's birthday. Like you don't get to take up an entire month. Maybe you get a weekend if it does fall on a Saturday and you're in the range of like, hey, and then by in the range, I mean like in your 20s or something, and you just want to celebrate with your friends all weekend. Once you get older, just like you're just another day closer to death. You know what I mean? It's
all downhill. It's been downhill. That's fine. I know what I'm here for. Instead, I just, took my kid to the aquarium in the morning. And I went with parents who live in our building, and they were just like, and we were all like with our kids. They're like, why are you going? Why didn't your wife take the kid? And I was like, I don't mind going out. I like spending time with him. And this is like just an opportunity to give my wife some downtime, with the express consent that hopefully, or the express, I was hoping that he would then go out with her later on in the day. not to be had. The kid didn't take a nap later on, so we were stuck with a very whiny, upset baby, well, toddler, while I was stuck at home being annoyed that I couldn't get a day to myself or an afternoon to myself. So here we are. But it was a nice day. I appreciate everyone who reached out. Appreciate everyone who had nice things to say, and those who had mean things to say. Well,
did people say mean things to you on your birthday?
No. People were
No.
too busy mourning the loss of R-Truth and Carlito.
No, yeah, that's fair. They're not dead either.
They're not dead.
That's very clear.
We really have to, social media people, we really have to work on how we tell these stories about people. Just because they're leaving the you know what? Shout out to Karrion Kross. I think Kross was the one who said it the best. Keep the stories, but don't mourn them like they're dead. They're going to be on the indies. They're going to be working hard. They're going to be doing just fine. I think these two especially are going to be doing just fine.
Carlito, all he did was the indies last run. He never went anywhere else. Carlito worked Puerto Rico. He won the WWC Championship over the weekend. So I work Puerto Rico. Yeah, I'll probably do some indie shots. R-Truth can do. We'll talk about it. We got to wait 45 minutes in, according to your theory.
I mean, my theory is undefeated. Is usually when we have the most viewership. But this is also when you get a hot button topic and people want to talk long form about it, then we can do that. But with Carlito, I will put it like this. I was lucky enough at the very last minute to do a little interview with him at the presser for WrestleMania week. They brought him out, and I was with my little pot of people where we were standing, and they were like, we didn't prepare for him. What should we do? What are we going to ask? And I'm like, oh, I know exactly what the stuff I want to ask. And I did. And then at one point, I kind of mixed up my wording because I asked him about how his brothers had done the TNA run, right? They had just recently done a TNA run. And I meant to ask him, are you thinking of doing the same? But I said it in a way that I think I said return to TNA. And he was like, I never worked TNA. I was like, you sure? I just wanted to have a joke about it. Well, R-Truth, that's not R-Truth. Now Carlito, now you have the opportunity to prove me right, pal. Now you have the opportunity to go and work TNA just like I always thought you should. Now's your chance. Go do it, Lito.
I wouldn't be shocked if Carlito shows up in TNA since his brothers are there. Like, it's a possibility.
They were there for one set of tapings. Let's be honest. They did the sacrifice stuff in Texas. That was it.
Yeah, well, I could see it. I think he's just gonna work indies. I don't think he's gonna. I don't know how much Carlito like really wants to wrestle. It's not like he's wrestling on WWE TV. I think he's a good like television personality. So TNA would make sense in that, and that I could be on TV and advance some stories in that way. R-Truth can do whatever he wants. He'll probably have offers from wherever. He is a television player. I'm not sure how much he wants to wrestle either, but you need a guy to fill some time. R-Truth can fill some time. I don't know. Like, I think there's like funny stuff for him to do in AEW. I just don't know if there's like anything serious that he's going to do in AEW, but he's not going to be brought in to do serious stuff. I know people have done the joke of like, oh, I should go to AEW and be like Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin, MVP, Edge, John Moxley. Where you guys been?
Claudio.
Yeah.
Adam Cole.
There's plenty. There's plenty.
Yes, I just want to keep going.
Yeah. Like, where you guys been? But yeah, that's like a fun pop, but not a ton of mileage out of that. And I don't think like having a guy who just references WWE the whole time is like a great character or makes for like it's a funny pop the first time you do it, but then after a while it's like, okay, we kind of get it. Ha ha ha. Like, can we just do cool matches now? Like, what are we doing? Also,
like, it works once to pop the audience, but then you get a lot of people being like, boy, you're drawing attention to the fact that a lot of former WWE guys are here, aren't you? And that was a knock against AEW at one time, and people were kind of getting to the point where it was, the only talking point they had. You don't need to rehash that, but him working with Jericho, as Ryan says in the chat, I think is a hilarious moment you could pull. Just do a one-off. He doesn't. I don't think any of these guys need to work like a full-time contract. They could easily just pop in, do special appearances, and have a moment, and that's it. Get a payday. You could do Carlito coming in and having a specialty match when you're in that area where he's popular. Like, you can do that. I also wouldn't mind seeing Carlito get into some sort of comedy because he's a funny dude. He's got a lot of good moments from his last run in WWE that were like a little bit of bit comedy, but he also had good timing, and he's always been well paced in his comedy and his chops. I wouldn't mind seeing him try something, even like a stand-up type of show, like a one-man show. He might actually excel at something like that. Just don't try to call him like Latino Carrot Top, but yeah, you figure it out. Look at his hair. Can't tell me I'm wrong.
We'll see with Carlito and R-Truth. Like, again, they're gonna have options. Where they are, don't know. Truth can just go do indies and conventions, never wrestle, and make a ton of money. Like, he's already, I assume, doing pretty well based on all the years in WWE, and I don't know the lifestyle that he lives, but feels like he's probably pretty well off with everything. And yeah, he could just show up to GCW and do comedy spots, and they'll love that stuff for 30 seconds, and then it's like, all right, go on to the next match.
Oh, Truth and Effie for the GCW title is gonna hit.
Yeah.
That. Go to. I think is he North Carolina or South Carolina? Either way, go
Truth
to the Carolina. He's North Carolina.
Yeah.
Go to the Carolinas and just run that, and you can have a great time with Truth. You know, doing what he wants to do. It's Truth and Atticus Cogar. Skewers
something.
But like also you don't know, we don't know, nobody knows what these guys want to do next steps in their career, right? For all we know, Truth is being like, I want to go and have like a hardcore death match in GCW, and we'll be like, okay, that's fine. Or they just want to keep doing what they're doing, and that's it. He has all the opportunities in the world given the amount of time he's been on WWE programming. He's had a huge long career so far. He's been NWA World Champion. I made the joke. I was like, have Santana win in New York, and then by Bound for Glory, have Ron Killings come back and beat Santana for the TNA title. Why not? I don't care. Let's just do that. It would be it would be something else. But I like Truth, and I like Carlito, and I think both guys they're going to be just fine when it comes down to landing on your feet. It's more a question of what the perception became, especially when Truth was when he announced that he's not being renewed, that he's leaving WWE. There was almost a 99.9999999% review of this man being either a help to everyone's career, or a shining light backstage, or an influence somewhere. Nobody had anything negative to say about Truth. There was nothing. And the only negative thing that anyone said was not even related to Truth. It was just someone making a that's business remark.
Stupid people. I had stupid people in my mentions, but I ignored them all.
And by the way, I'm speaking specifically about someone who publicly said that's just business, or that's how business works. And I think people have already figured out that was Brian James. That was Road Dogg, but he took that tweet down. So I don't think that was him taking a shot. Maybe somebody just said, it's probably not the right wording to use. He was trying to be nice, but he was trying to also be understanding of business. Regardless, I'm not going to speak for Brian James and what he's doing. It's more, that's you want to talk about the 0.0001. That's what I'm talking about. Either way, universally loved this man was R-Truth, and the expected hole that he is going to leave is problematic for a locker room that is I can't even put it into words what that locker room is right now, but I don't think morale gets high when he's not there.
So this is what Endeavor does. We talk about it all the time, where cost synergies, right? And that's how people behind the scenes lose their jobs, because during the merger, it's like, oh, we already got somebody from here who does that. So why do we need somebody from here who does that? Well, you got to go. So when these companies take over, it typically leads to a loss in jobs. I put out yesterday when Endeavor, William Morris Endeavor, which is now TKO essentially, purchased the UFC. They released Chuck Liddell and Matt Hughes from their contracts. Dana White gave Chuck Liddell and Matt Hughes lifetime title jobs, director of some nonsense, because he didn't want either of them fighting anymore. He didn't want either of them getting knocked out anymore. And he wanted them both to get paid because he's good friends with both of them. And they give a lot to the UFC. I mean, Matt Hughes was one of the top draws of his time. Chuck Liddell was the top draw of his time. The guy who did the first ever million buy pay-per-view for UFC. Like, these were two of the top draws of their time. Pioneers of the sport, helped lead the boom era for UFC. And just gave them title jobs as a way to keep them out of the octagon, keep them paid, keep them around. Endeavor saw these guys do nothing for this much. Nope. They got to go. That's what they saw. And so they released them. That's what it feels like with Truth here. Is it, we all thought Truth is probably a lifetime job there. Like, I don't know how much Truth is making. I don't pocket watch. Hopefully it was a lot. It was probably way less than he deserved. But they saw, this wasn't even a release. This was a contract, non-contract renewal. So I do want to be clear on that. He's just not getting his contract renewed. I don't know how much he asked for. Whatever it was, it probably wasn't enough, honestly. Probably wasn't. But they saw what he asked for and like, oh, wait, he's only on TV this much? No. We can spend that elsewhere or not spend that at all. And so the contract wasn't renewed. They do not care what you have done. They do not care what you do. They only care how much you are making and how much you are bringing in. In Truth's case, it's very strange because his t-shirt was the number one seller, but I'm sure they just give that to John Cena and it's like, all right, yeah, but if he wasn't doing a John Cena bit, how much is he really doing? I don't know how much merchandise Truth had. I don't feel like it was a lot. You certainly didn't see a ton of it. So they can justify it in that way of, well, this is more Cena than Truth. I think it's sad. I think it sucks. I think when you are making billions of dollars, if a guy is asking for more and he is a valuable member to the locker room and universally loved by everyone in the locker room, it's okay if you make $1.15 billion instead of $1.155 billion. It's okay.
I wonder if in their mind they say, well, now we set a precedent and then we can bring anyone back. And again, this is not me making any excuses as much as it is me trying to get into the head of this company. It's strange, beyond belief. There are Legends deals that could be struck. They're very rarely with a clause to wrestle, to continue working, but those deals are though you add clauses. I really do question when you make a decision like this, where someone who is universally loved gets canned. And again, you can make the argument he's not canned, he just wasn't renewed. And in this business, whatever you're only as good as your next contract, whatever it is, he deserved more than that in the eyes of many people. Not only for the amount of time he's been around, but also for the quality of work he's done. He's never been the perfect top guy, but he's always been just smart to the business. He's always been someone who continues to operate at a top level.
He just worked a program with John Cena. And look, I didn't think the program was a good use of John Cena in his final run. I love R-Truth. He was where he was on the card. I always think there's a role for him. 100% there's a role for him. But I don't think that he should have been doing something with John Cena and using dates here with John Cena as Cena's last few dates. I thought that was just But this whole Cena run has sucked. That has nothing to do with R-Truth. That has everything to do with they've booked this run terribly. But he just worked a program with John Cena. What does it say when you can put this guy in a position to work a main event program with one of the biggest stars ever in his final year, and then a week later decide we're not going to renew his contract? This guy is not important enough to renew his contract. Whatever this guy's asking for is too much, and we don't want to give him that much to renew his contract. It just sends a bad message. It's just not a good message to send. It shows that, I mean, if it wasn't clear already, anyone is expendable on this roster. Doesn't matter where you're booked on the card. Doesn't matter what you bring in. You are expendable. If a guy who just spent the last 3 weeks feuding with John Cena, working one of John Cena's last matches, if they decide he isn't valuable enough, you're probably not valuable enough either.
Do you mind if I take your husky son to the ring and teach him a lesson? The line of the night from SmackDown. And that was R-Truth. Talking to JC Mateo, talking to Jeff Cobb, talking about Jeff Cobb, talking to Solo Sikoa. That's it. That was R-Truth in a nutshell. Could say literally anything, and it felt like everything he said was an attempt to break people on the air, which was hilarious. Got Priest at every turn when he was doing the Judgment Day stuff. Got Brock, of all people, to break. So, like, it's upsetting from a morale standpoint. It's upsetting from a backstage standpoint. It's upsetting from anyone who's been following R-Truth for the 150 years he's been in the business. I say that with love and respect. He's been around for a long ass time. Who knows? Maybe they bring him back. Maybe he gets a new deal. Maybe they realize this was stupid. And maybe if they do, Truth says, "No, screw you guys. I don't want this. I don't want this from you." But we don't know. We just don't know. He's gonna find his next steps, and I'm sure, like you said, he can do the con circuit. He can do the indie circuit. He can do literally anything and do great work. Can R-Truth and Carlito as well, same time. Tag team them up.
They might to tag team.
What do you call them? Truth apples?
Truth apples.
How do you like them apples is the tagline.
That would actually be good if they give like people apples and then they like could only speak the truth after that. It's like truth serum apples. That would rule.
What if it's like a babyface heel tag team where let's say R-Truth is actually the bad guy here, and the only way to keep R-Truth away is to give him an apple a day. So you give the fans the apple, and it keeps R-Truth at bay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're cooking.
Yeah.
We're doing it.
I don't mind what I do.
Couple super chats here. Volop sends one, says Vanilla Fumble is what we call. Oh, do you want to do the thing?
I gotta pull it up.
I'm Vanilla, baby.
Thank you. Vanilla Fumble is what we call when you ask me what today's Vanilla Fumble is. I can speak, I promise. Hashtag TKO'd. I feel like TKO'd was a thing that people used in other ventures at one point. And Bushin Ryu Cat. I always want to say Bushi Road Ryu Cat, but I just can't. Morning chat and hosts. Good morning. I'm finishing off the year with no more WWE watches or comments except this one. WWE couldn't write Ron, this is R-Truth, Ron's redemption story because they're stupid. They used Cena beating Truth to write him off. They used JC Mateo to write him off. But that's
I don't think they knew they were writing him off though. So with blaming Triple H, releases might be one thing. And yeah, maybe Triple H can say, don't release these people and save them. Contract renewals, I truly do not know. And I'm not going to speculate of, Triple H could have saved this person. Because maybe Triple H is like, yeah, give him whatever he wants. And TKO would be like, well, no, we're not going to give him whatever he wants. We're just not going to do that. So I do not know when it comes to contract renewals and how much say Triple H has in all of that. You would think Triple H and Nick Khan would both realize the value of Triple H. Or sorry, I'm sure they realize Triple H's value. You would think Triple H.
there's a guy with $7 in his pocket just ready to go.
You would think Triple H and Nick Khan would realize the value of a guy like Truth and have something to say of, yeah, maybe like this one we got to make some concessions on. Like, I understand you got your budget and you don't want to go over this and all the investors and everything, but like, I can't imagine Truth was asking for the world here or anything. I imagine he was asking for, you know, a good deal, but I again don't know. Don't want to fully speculate of he was asking for, you know, John Cena money. But Triple H and Nick Khan probably got to be like, yeah, just pay him this. Like, you're going to upset people if you do not renew this contract. Like, you're going to make this place a less joyful place to work for. And you've seen, based on the reactions, these are the public reactions. I can only imagine what's being said behind the scenes with all of this stuff. These are the public reactions of how much love and support R-Truth is getting. Imagine going into Raw tonight ain't going to feel like some great place to go to without Truth there, keeping things light.
Joaquin Wilde had a really good tweet about Truth's influence on him. I think it was Wilde, where he mentioned that Truth came into a seminar or some sort of training and was telling everyone about his story. And then he went around and asked, "What's your story?" And there were a lot of people saying, you know, wrestling's my life. I love wrestling, blah, blah, blah. And then that was the moment for Joaquin where he's like, I need to have more than just I love wrestling as my avatar, as my story. And he decided from there to focus in on being DJ Z and doing the DJ gimmick and being Zema Ion and doing all that extra stuff that like brought him much more of a character and much more of a presentational boost than just being guy who sleeps in his car and wants to be in the Cruiserweight Classic. That was I make that joke kind of tongue in cheek because that was what it was in 2016. And I think that that's something that, again, you see wrestlers needing is those voices that have those experiences outside of wrestling that can teach you and impart the knowledge that you need to move forward and comfortably navigate this business without feeling like at every step you're going to get someone to stab you in the back or you're going to get someone who talks shit about you to someone else. You needed guys like Truth for that, because Ron has never come off as that guy who's in it for himself. He always felt like a team player for a locker room more than team player for the company. And that's something that kind of stands out to me with all of the outpouring of respect and the stories being told by these wrestlers about Truth.
Speaking of voices of wrestling. How you doing, Cam?
You're muted, but you look great.
You are muted.
Doing great. I'm just like the most sounds are happening right now. I think I've explained to you that like this laptop it's going, man. I've had this thing since the pandemic hit, and I of course use it for work, but any like Photoshop or like Premiere thing that I've done has been like ran through this because, you know, we get it all through the college. And so this thing is hurting. Brief break.
You got it.
Everybody's
Okay.
back. Yeah. And then the puppies. I'm in San Antonio for a few days, and the puppies are puppying with each other. And it is just noise and running and chatter. And again, Joel, Jeremy, you guys are like actual fathers. I don't know how you do it. I'm not in the bathroom. You're
a lot of drugs.
Like, what are you talking about?
It's a nice bathroom.
Yeah, bathroomed up, man. Yeah.
The answer to your question, by the way, is you pray for Mondays when they go back to school, when it's not summer vacation.
It's summer breaks.
For you guys, it is. In Canada, they got another month to go.
Oh, jeez.
So for us, of course, like, you know, K through 12 just let out week before last or last week between San Antonio and Austin. But today's the first day of summer session at the college, and so it don't stop. It don't stop. So yeah, neither of my students showed up this morning because great, fantastic. Thank you. I could still be in bed asleep. But yeah.
Instead, you're here on us, here with us.
Yeah, no place I'd rather be, man. I woke up to a DM from Sport Bible asking to use my video. We've gone viral. Went to a birthday party, and it's Rose's, one of her best friends growing up, and they came in town, and she was like, it's WWE themed, and I was like, okay, so that gives us a chance to do some stuff. So we bought a bunch of stuff at Superstore, like cups and programs, all that kind of stuff. So we threw that in the bag. I got my good buddy TNA champion Trick Williams to send the kid a video, which was very, very sweet. He was very surprised.
Nice.
We sat there for a while. We just kind of ran through like all the pictures and videos I had from WrestleMania the last couple of years. And one of the kids is like, "Did you see any YouTubers there?" And I was like, "We have lost the plot."
Oh no! Kenny Omega was right.
John Cena was right. Oh no!
Did I see who? It was very, and he was, he's like 11. They were so knowledgeable about the YouTuber. And yeah, he said he was sitting right here during the show. I was like, you know what? That's beautiful. That's wonderful.
Now you're gonna show him this video and be like, "Here's your YouTuber on the wrestling show."
Yeah. So they're, they have like the cups and little party things and the posters and everything's like around the garage. They got the big blow up ring, and then they have the piñata. And they have like a decorated stick in WWE colors, like the black and the red, and that's all set up. I said, no. A stick? You can't use a stick. And then I grabbed the steel chair and handed the steel chair to the kid. And the kid's swinging away. And of course, he's not ready for the weight. And I thought it was like a fun little thing. And then that thing just took off. It has like WWE on Netflix asked to use it. And it has like 40,000 likes on TikTok. So the kid's all excited, and I'm like, "This is cool. This is what you're supposed to use those connections for. This kind of stuff." So that was really cool.
They're gonna show it. They're gonna show it on Raw tonight. Michael Cole's gonna be like, "WWE is everywhere. Look at this kid's birthday party."
Then they're gonna say, "Where the fuck did he get that piñata?" But yeah, that was come on, computer. That was lovely. What wasn't lovely was, of course, yesterday. The internet. Whenever someone no longer has a job, everybody just turns into the biggest asshole versions of themselves. And you don't have to be right about everything. And I think that really gets to people. We're allowed to say things like, "Yo, what a great run." How much everybody has good matches. Not everybody has good memories. And you can point to a bunch of stuff R-Truth did that was not pinfall or submission related, that was really, really fun. And you're allowed to appreciate that. You're allowed to value that. It doesn't have to turn into this guy, he didn't have a great match since blah, blah, blah. He wasn't in the title picture, blah, blah, blah. Like, real people in real jobs know that it's not just about who has the most sales. It's not about who has the highest salary. Sometimes it's about feeling good about being in someone's presence. It's about, again, how they make you feel. And then there was the thing where a guy I really respect was talking about how, as a company, getting rid of somebody like that does hurt morale. And it does hurt, how your fans feel, which was evident, which we all saw yesterday in people's reaction. And then somebody dug up a tweet from like 11 years ago with him saying something not so nice about R-Truth. And it's like, "Oh, so do you feel this way now?" Yes, motherfucker. That's how time works. That's how growing up works. That's how actually watching somebody through their career works. You didn't like them in 2005, bitch. I didn't like a lot of things in 2005. Like, It just, everybody has to have the most intense or the most sought after or the most poignant reaction, when sometimes it can really just be like, man, he was really dope. Don't like this for him. Hopefully it works out.
That's like reason number 7 why I nuked all my tweets when I had the chance. People digging up old stuff that makes like no sense to dig up. Oh, you said this about this guy. I'm like, yeah, and how much engagement does it have? None? Great. I was just talking out of my ass like y'all were back then too. Leave it alone. Leave it alone.
Watching these internet children talk out of their ass right now, and it's just funny to me because I genuinely I say less about wrestling now. It's just not worth my peace, I guess, and that energy can really be directed elsewhere. I talk about what I like. Hey, I like that. That was great. Really cool. And I get the fuck up out of there because it's supposed to be fun. It really is just supposed to be fun. And there are serious moments, and you can talk about the serious moments, but man, what it turns into.
Basically that.
Basically that. Shout out to Booster. Oh my God. I watched him turn we went to the dog park for the first time, and he's out there having a ball. There's a rock that's probably, I don't know, 1.5 feet tall. He's darting full speed, doesn't see the rock, tries to jump over it last second, turns a cartwheel in midair, and lands on his feet. And I'm like, oh no, it's going to happen again, isn't it? And nope, he stood there for a second, shook it off, and ran away. I was like, thank God. Thank God.
He was working. He's like, oh, remember I did this last time and got injured. He's like, I'm going to show you I'm good now. True worker.
It's it's a really interesting time watching like all these people in flux. I did the before Double or Nothing, talked to Jamie Hayter. A really, really fun conversation with her. I'm a huge fan. Again, one of my favorite matches I've attended in person. And so we got to talk about that Sheeta match. We got to talk about, her aspirations, her goals, her getting back to the top of the mountain, the best quote ever when it's like, I don't care if I have abs. I want to eat everything that I see and lift the heaviest weights. And I was like, a woman after my own heart. I love it.
And then she offered to get you beans on toast. Go on.
That was terrible what she said. I really think we're in the process of setting up what we want to do for All In. Myself, my man Greg Gibson, who does the Black Sports Symposium, a couple of other people. And one thing I've told them that I want to do, I was like, we got to take Jamie Hayter out for barbecue. Like, we just have to do it. Actual beans where they belong, next to something, next to a brisket. But yeah, we're kind of working through that. But like I said, being in flux, I talked to Jordan Grace basically the same week that I talked to Hayter. It ended up coming out after Battleground, but it was really interesting listening to her because Jordan worked so hard to get to this point, worked so hard on her physique, and she's like, I don't know if I have the same athletic prowess that these kids coming up on these NIL deals have through NXT. And then in turn, watching like a Jakara Jade get released, it's all so businessy, I guess. It's very difficult for somebody like me who tries to avoid that aspect to just talk about the people, watching the people in real time react to the business stuff too, Let's play you from the buzz for a second.
Wait for it.
No, I thought you guys were going to say things. I was going to stop saying things.
Jeremy, what did you have to say?
I have people yelling in my background. That's distracting me. I'm sorry.
So we're all going through it right now. Okay.
I mean, my wife's asleep in the other room, so it doesn't matter. She's
morning. But,
I was up at 5. We're good.
Man, it's everything seems in flux, and you when you develop these relationships with people, you know, you want them to do well. Like it looks like, and I have no knowledge of this. Like it looks like, you know, like Rick might be moving up, you know, and it's exciting. You know, it really is. To see, you know, what he does at that level with these new opponents. It really is exciting. But like, then you got to watch a guy like Truth. Hold on.
And we're back. Well, and he's back, and he's gone, and then he'll come back. He's got to take care of the dog.
As one does.
Do a Booster. Yeah, that's right.
As one does.
Booster's done in the bathroom, so he's gonna go and remove him.
We put Booster. Booster's on the other side of the house now. He's going crazy.
He likes hearing your voice, and now he wants to know. He wants to get in a conversation.
Oh my God. But yeah, just knowing that the way these things work, man. Somebody goes up, somebody's going down, and it's the nature of how a lot of things work. It's the nature of sport. In some cases, it's the nature of business. But man, you want everybody to win, and everybody can't. So it's always mixed feelings. Like at times like this, like a Gigi Dolan, who like I really enjoyed her work. You know, she talked about how like emotionally it really, really got to her. And it's fair. And you look at like Zoe Stark has to retire because that leg just, you know, it's like that. I don't know. A lot of mixed emotions this Monday.
Yeah, and it's going to be, again, like we were talking about, it's going to be interesting to gauge the reaction of what's going on backstage because Truth will most likely not be there. And like you said, there are changes afoot in that locker room. There are people who, at one point, you know, this has been a bit of the conversation, is the feeling of nothing is guaranteed backstage. You can put in however many years, however many miles, however much respect, however much love, and it just won't matter at the end of the day. And that creates a bit of it doesn't create a bad morale, but it certainly doesn't contribute to anything good. That's kind of a problem. And that's why these conversations are going to be interesting to hear backstage, because they're all going to be feeling different kinds of ways. And then eventually it'll be, okay, we're back to work. And that's it.
Hold on. Let's clarify on Zoe Stark. Where did she say she was retired?
She posted a video saying that with this latest tear, she's going to have to retire.
Where's this video?
Let me locate it. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see.
I am currently on the Instagram.
Yeah,
I don't see anything there other than a video about deja vu.
Yeah.
Let me see.
I
definitely saw it.
Okay. I want to make sure we're getting the correct information out there.
Yeah. Let me see.
Did you get WWE Sentinel Cam? AI is crazy nowadays.
Yo, they got me.
No.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. They got me. Sorry, guys.
Well, I'm glad we breezed by that.
People are saying it is AI. People just like.
Thank you. They got me. I didn't think I could be got.
Nowadays with AI, man, they can do anything. It's honestly upsetting.
Crazy.
Yeah. All right. Glad we clarified that.
Yes. Shout out to Zoe Stark. I know a thing or two about broken legs and torn ACLs. He ain't break that damn mouth though. Jesus Christ in heaven. Oh. But no, so Money in the Banks this week?
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Working on a thing for
he say his name and he debunks.
Hey guys, I just want to say I saw a video recently of Cam Hawkins eating a hot dog, and I knew it was fake because he ain't eating no less than 9 in one sitting.
Because he only ate one.
I had like one in my hand at a time, and you were like, no.
I said, no way. No way. And I looked, and it was like, I found out that's what Joey Chestnut has been using to fool people for years. He's just been deep faking onto videos of you and everybody falls for it.
That's crazy. That's frightening. Number one. How dare you?
There's the Cincinnati Reds are selling a shirt of him that says 9 dogs, 9 innings, 1 champ.
I mean, Cam being from San Antonio, the women in San Antonio, they love their hot dogs.
Yeah.
You know? They eat them like that.
I'm leaving.
I just always love, and Charles Barkley's great.
It's so funny.
I just love that Charles Barkley was 450 pounds when he made that video.
Yeah.
And like nobody
Doesn't
decided that, Charles, y'all were out to eat together. But no, they just let him rock, I guess, yeah. Yeah, we were eating good at that birthday party though, boy. They put it together. Absolutely. Oh man. But we're working on a piece of Money in the Bank. And I'm gonna talk about that match. That John Cena CM Punk match, which was one of the best moments and arcs that WWE's had kind of in modern times. And I really want to kind of dive into kind of what that match meant to me. I remember where I was when I saw it. You know what I mean? Like that was such a fun time. I want to take some time to break that down. So we're working on that this week. And then just on a personal but adjacent note, man, a new Clips single dropped.
Oh, hell yeah.
And listen, I'm just I'm 3/4 of the way through this piece that Fraser Tharp did a really long form, like 4,000 word interview with them. And boy, it's just one of those things that reminds me, like, this is why I like to write. Like, this is the kind of thing that like really gets me motivated. That song is just absolutely incredible. We were riding around all weekend, just running it back. It is so impressive and thought-provoking. And there's something about being a master of your craft. I am just creatively like there right now, where I'm like, oh, I want this thing to be really good. I want to capture this type of emotion. And Fraser's piece on them for GQ is just so detailed. And it's like, that's what I think I write like. That's what got me. I was like, no, the way he's like weaving in this real anecdote about hanging out with them, going out to dinner, the issues they had getting from place to place, and then talking about, the past with Kanye and the label and Drake and Kendrick and, working now with like new artists like Stove God. I'm just like, this is what I aspire to do. And so, yeah, I'm properly motivated on a Monday. I'm very excited. And here comes Booster.
I got to check out the GQ piece. I listened to the track multiple times over the weekend. I'm excited for the album, but I've not seen this GQ piece, so I'm gonna have to seek that out and read that after the show.
Yeah, it is not someone. There's this divide on social media about you're either a Drake fan or a Kendrick fan, which is now turned into you're either a Drake fan or a Pusha fan. What was that beforehand? But it's like, how can you still want to hear somebody talk about selling drugs?
Oh, I hate this. That's all I want Pusha to talk about. I don't want to rap about anything else.
And my thing was like, look, some of you really like a 40-year-old lamenting about his issues dating 20-year-olds. That's your thing. That's great. And let's grow out of that. I want to hear top tier rapping about selling drugs.
Yeah.
You know why? Because I really like rap and I like the idea of selling drugs.
People,
yeah.
I've seen like when Pusha came out with a new song a few years ago, people were like, how can you guys still listen to him talk about selling drugs? Like, I don't go to McDonald's expecting tacos, like I'm going to get a burger from McDonald's. This is what I want.
I know what I'm getting from a John Cena match. Not so much lately, but I know what I'm getting. I know how it's going to make me feel when it's done properly. Roll it out there. Like I don't. I used to get on. Again, Bret Hart, one of my all-time favorites, used to talk about he didn't like Dean Malenko matches because they were like too precise and too choreographed. I was like, Britt, these motherfuckers is dope. What are you talking about? Like, I was watching, somebody had a clip of that Dean Malenko, Rey Mysterio cruiserweight title match where Rey's on his shoulders and is about to turn it and flip it into a Hurricane Rana. Dean power bombs him in the corner, or power bombs him opposite the corner, and then puts his feet up on the ropes for leverage for the pin. I was like, I want to see things like this all the time from this specific person. It's great. I love it.
You know, a lot of people are talking to people for Money in the Bank. Is anyone talking to anyone about Worlds Collide from the AAA side? That's my question. I'm just curious about that. And it's not like I'm curious because that's weird. It's more like I'm curious if anyone's going to be talking to anyone about that event, because it's going to be close to, if not a sellout, and it looks like it's going to be a fun little afternoon show for WWE and AAA.
What's really interesting, it hasn't been done a whole lot, but my man William Rich Jr., who works for a news station in Tampa. I hung out with him during Royal Rumble weekend. He actually interviewed before Battleground Oba Femi and Stephanie Becker. So that clip of Oba saying he wants to beat up her boyfriend, that's what that's from. And so it's one of the few times, if any, that even Stephanie has done like real media. You know what I mean? I think that they're starting to, and it's being WWE, they're starting to have more of their non-English speakers get to do like real media. So I don't know if that's going to like expand you with the AAA thing, but hopefully. I think that the WrestleMania press conference we were at, Joel, where
we
yeah,
you was at
wait, you, oh yeah.
Wow.
I'm fucking up today.
Yeah, it's okay. They put it.
It was an AI Joel Pearl. It's fine.
Retirement, like Joel not being in the but they had Io Sky come out there with a prepared statement, which I thought was exactly what should happen in the moment. Like, don't do anything to minimize or throw off what was a very big night. I thought that was great. I'd love to like talk to her, even if it would take some time, even if you have to be a bit more precise, even if you got to go in there with a translator. I think that would be a really fun thing. So it'll be interesting to see if more of that is done. I purposely was like, I'm going to write about this match because if I'm going to do this thing for a long time, I can't burn through the Rolodex. I kind of started to burn through the Rolodex. And so I was like, let me pull back a little bit. Like there's still people I need to circle back with. Like definitely want to circle back with Mella. But I don't think it's the right time yet. There's still not an embargo, but they're looking for the right moments and the right times for the Solo Sikoas and the Jacob Fatus of the world to make sure that those are done properly, But yeah, I think Money in the Bank, I mean, the match is always really, really fun. And what it kind of leads to. I don't know how I feel about like a tag team match, It's cool. Like, I don't. People were saying that, this is how John Cena is not a good actor, because this is why he's always like eighth from the top. I was like, John Cena is actually a pretty good actor. Like, I enjoy him in the things that he does. Peacemaker is like my shit. I don't know how I'm not into what he's doing right now. I think at first I was really excited about it. Now I'm just kind of like, it's cool. I don't know if it's leading to anywhere specific or if it's going to have a defined ending or a moment where you were like, this was all worth it. It's cool. I think the match itself, the Money in the Bank matches themselves will be good because they're always good. But I don't know.
I mean, on Friday, they were clearly trying to angle for a Logan Paul, John Cena interaction of some kind. So make of that what you will.
The YouTuber, the very same. And if Mr. Beast liked wrestling, he would be there too.
And that's actually true.
That's very true. They wanted everybody on the internet wants to see me be more hood. So I'm gonna put on this fucking monkey suit and show everybody that I can do that.
Is this a thing?
It was DreamCon weekend this last weekend. And they actually had what's the promotion out of DC? My man Andino wrestles for him. Fight Club Pro.
Okay.
Fight Club Pro actually set up a ring and had live wrestling at DreamCon. Salute to them, man. That was really, really cool. Just watching the larger interaction between like pro wrestling and these other fan bases, like the anime fan base, the gaming fan base. It was really cool to see them get that look, man. He actually body slammed my co-promoter DJ in the ring. Really, really cool for my man Hella Yella. Yeah. It was a pretty cool wrestling weekend with not the largest amount of wrestling, if that makes sense.
Yeah, the best wrestling weekends are where wrestling doesn't actually happen. I get it.
Yeah, because you don't. I mean, shout out to Jeremy for staying up till ass late at night doing a live review of a show after Tyrese Halliburton busted that ass.
Oh, I mean, I was watching the game anyway, so I was like, well, I'm going to be up watching the game. So, and then I might as well watch Collision.
What do you think about what Nick Wright said about?
I don't listen to Nick Wright, so I have no idea.
Fair. So he made a really interesting point in that, say OKC wins a championship, right? And it looks like they probably will. I know how much you love hearing that. Yeah.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves, please.
He was like, if they win the championship, it would be an all-time great season.
Oh, yeah, this
comment. Say it was an all-time great team. And at first I was like, why would you even say a thing like that? But it made perfect sense because in a lot of cases, all-time great teams have already kind of been there and have been established. But man, I
so can they not be an all-time great team unless they win 2 championships with this core?
No. I don't think that was his point. I think that, like, let's say that they win this championship and get back to the finals a couple of times. I think then you would say it was an all-time great team because like the 99 Spurs aren't an all-time great team, right? The 05 Spurs are an all-time great team because, you had guys on their way to the Hall of Fame. You had Tim Duncan at the peak of his powers. You had these amazing role players. It was just a bit more longevity and establishment, I guess. Like that Milwaukee team with Giannis, not an all-time great team, And you wouldn't say that the 22 Golden State was an all-time great team, even though they had 3 Hall of Famers, But you would say what? 17 and or 18 for Golden State, definitely an all-time great team. You wouldn't say 15 is an all-time great team. So I got the logic. It made sense. I think there's like something to be said about Jalen Williams being like a 25-5 guy, though. And I didn't realize until All NBA came out, like he's a monster. Chet's like not numbers, but he was, coming off injuries, clearly really, really good. I wonder if because what
I don't think they're going to be looked at as an all-time great team. I didn't hear Nick Wright's full point. I saw the clip again. I do not care to listen to Nick Wright, but I don't feel like they're going to be looked at as an all-time great team. One, unless they do kind of repeat, and by repeat, like they haven't won 1 yet. They still have to win 4 games, the same as the Indiana Pacers. But unless they potentially win multiple, it doesn't feel like they're going to be looked at as an all-time great team. I think the bigger issue is just how NBA is discussed today. And I don't think any team is going to get as much credit in the moment than past teams, because we like to look at past teams like, oh, this was an all-time great team. The league was so much tougher then, and blah, 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 blah. The dumb Morris twins are like, there's no great teams left in the playoffs. Like, so every team sucks. Then is that what you're telling me? There's no good teams in the NBA. So
they're so good.
yeah, I don't think any team is just going to be looked at as like an all-time great team. Like, they try to knock Shea for all the foul stuff, and it's like, okay, you're telling me superstars don't get calls? Like, what are we doing? You're telling me Dwayne Wade didn't go to the line 10 times a game? You're telling me Harden, Jordan, all these guys weren't going to the line 9 to 10 times a game? Like, it's just dumb the way NBA is discussed at all on major networks nowadays. So
if Shea wasn't such a good mid-range shooter, maybe I'd have some of those same like issues. Like, I hate James Harden. I think James Harden is one of the best shooting guards ever. I also think he found the glitch in the Matrix and just exploited. It wasn't fun to watch, but
I agree.
Amazing to watch. That mid-range jumper. He looks like that other guy that you're not allowed to say anybody looks like.
Yep.
He looks like that other guy, and it is beautiful to watch.
People won't say it because, like you said, you're not allowed to say it, but actually watch the games and watch how he plays. And yes, he plays exactly like that person who also went to the line his fair share amount of times. Like, he has the most drives per game. Yeah, he's going to get fouled. Does he bait a little bit? Does he try to draw contact and over exaggerate? Yeah, because that is unfortunately how the game has gone. But again, watch the games and watch how much he probably should go to the line. This is the case for a lot of players. I think Edwards should go to the line more. I think Steph should go to the line more. All these guys get fouled way more than they do. Shea, like a lot of players, has learned you got to exaggerate this stuff, because if you don't exaggerate this stuff, they're just not going to call it. And then you'll never get free throws. So you have to.
Did you see? We were talking about Melo a little bit earlier. Did you see my man Walter Perry from the Wrestling Club was, in the nicest, most polite way possible, expressing his disappointment in Melo not being further along since he's, been on the card and knowing how good he is. Who would I rather have? I would rather have Halliburton because of literally what I'm about to talk about. There's just something about beige rage that means something to me personally. But yeah, he was, lamenting that. And Ricochet, who I've just fallen in love with as a personality, was just like, but no, being there is supposed to mean something. Like, being able to be in WWE, it's the dream. You can't be disappointed about anything that happens while you're there. Being there, that's what it's all about. And I was like, he's finally getting to speak his mind. And conversely, if they knew he had that much personality,
they did. That's the thing. He talked that shit when he was in WWE, and he kept being told to stop it.
Yeah, he was very online during his early portions of WWE, and then somebody got to him, was like, you can't be that online.
Yeah, they're like, this doesn't fit your character. I'm just like, maybe that was the excuses, whatever it was. They told him to stop. They told him to cut it out. And then he just became like generic flyer number 17, and Ricochet was what he was. Like, again, Ricochet had in his WWE run, he had high points. Like, nobody's going to put that down. Nobody should take that away from him. But no, you can't argue that he's doing his best work as like this variation of himself in AEW, where he's more of a character, where he's much more polished, where he's much more aware of like who he's supposed to be in wrestling. And he's playing it so well because it's him, but it's him turned up to 1,000, which is what every single veteran wrestler says you need to be to get over, or at least to understand what your place in the business can be.
He's, I appreciate, again, guys like Vic who not even toe the line, but can find very respectful ways to talk about their likes and their dislikes and the things that they'd want to happen. And I love that he's popular and public enough to where somebody's like, fuck all that. Here's the problem. and can say that without risk of, losing their spot and losing their job. I think that's great. Yeah. He's Kentucky shooter. He's Raylan Givens now. I love that. Fantastic.
It's actually a good gimmick.
Oh,
I think with the right PR people or the right people kind of coaching you, a lot of wrestlers have the potential to achieve so much more than they do. I was talking to Jeremy. We were hinting at it at the top of the show about some of these videos that are being released as people are, moving forward from their time in WWE. Some of these videos, they look creative and they look aesthetically pleasing, but the acting isn't exactly blowing anyone away. And that's something that, again, with a good group of people behind you helping and coaching and making you a better version of yourself, if you take that feedback and you use it to make yourself attainable and also just undeniable, you have opportunities, whether that's going back to WWE or whether that's going to an AEW or going to New Japan or going and making a lot of money on the indies or beyond wrestling. Whatever. No, I'm not talking about beyond wrestling, the company. I mean, outside of wrestling. Those are opportunities that you get when you take that feedback and you don't just get upset and shoot out and F you go out and you work with it. Kate's mentioning the Duke Hudson ones. Those were really well done. Harley Cameron's another good point. Absolutely. She's already with AEW, but now she's getting more of a focus because she's getting to shine with what she's good at. And they're giving her that opportunity. And again, I go back to Ricochet. It works because it's him turned up to 100. When I saw that reply that he gave, he got me for 2 seconds, and I was just like, "That son of a nope." I get it. He's right. I get it. That's his experience. He's doing the thing, and I thought that was great. Once you realize what he's doing and what a lot of these wrestlers are doing, you see it.
Ricochet is going to force people to start social media training class at the PC.
He's gonna every time he said that's funny because he said something like, "Yeah, we can't have this one on." And especially after Tuesday, I was just kind of looking at the landscape of like NXT and what I think it's going to be. And you got Ethan Page, right? Who looks to be this generation of NXT's Bobby Roode. Even though he's not NXT champion, he is guy who experienced veteran, really good on the mic, carries himself like a champion. And I thought that was the best thing that Bobby Roode did. Being in there with Bobby Roode made what you were doing kind of feel important. And so whoever Ethan Page goes in there with, who's less experienced and younger, I think it's going to be really good for him. I think he's been that so far. I'm really curious what they do on the women's side. Because you have your Kalani Jordans, you have your Sol Rukas. Now you got JC Jane at the helm. But you looks like you're not going to know Julia, no Stephanie, no Roxanne, probably no Jordan. They're really going in there with the people that they built up. Jada Parker. I'm always like really, really zoned in on the next NXT when it looks like things are changing. So it's going to be a real interesting couple of weeks, I guess. And then the whole thing is, they still have not moved Trick up, even though it's weird. He's kind of in that reverse Jordan role now, where, and I talked about this when I wrote it, where Jordan was really like the bridge. She was the constant, the one they could count on to be between NXT and TNA and carry it strongly both ways. It looks like, at least for a little while, because, and then Joel, you pointed it out, it looks like, and hopefully it looks like Mike Santana and Trick are on a collision course, which I think will be really, really good. But Trick's still not
see about that.
Is Javon Evans just gonna go? I'm super interested in the show that I watch because it's smartly 2 hours on a Tuesday and not
4 hours on Wednesday.
Why is SmackDown remaining?
They were all expecting it.
I know why, but why?
Yeah, I know. We talked about it on Friday. We weren't the biggest fans of keeping the SmackDown 3-hour deal anyway, but when money's on the table, you take the money and run. You can't really do much. I've been saying for a long time, just like what do you call it? Raw, when Raw was 3 hours, I would turn that thing off at 2 hours and be like, I'm going to catch the rest of this in the morning because I don't have a post show to do. I can just catch up later. Yeah, I'm a coward. I don't care. Same reason I ain't watching Collision at 11:30 at night on a Saturday. I'll watch it on Monday morning at 7 in the morning when I'm up and ready to go. That's just me. So
Love the game.
no love for this game. This game don't love me, so why should I love it back? That's all it is. But when it comes to the women, by the way, in NXT, you have someone coming in who's a beautiful blonde bombshell ready to make her way into the title picture and maybe come in as this big time baby face who takes the title from the evil JC Jane.
I wouldn't call it like it wasn't an audition, but it's like you guys were talking last week about hockey, which is apparently important to you.
I'm Canadian. It's kind of in my blood, and I'm waiting for Wednesday.
You guys were talking about how I don't know what his name's probably Patrick something. You guys are all named Patrick up there, but about how
Connor McDavid, I think,
the best player in the game, and you were like, "Yeah, man, it's contract year. Like he's coming up." That's how I looked at what she did, and I think with every wrestler, you should always wrestle like it's a contract year. But yeah, she smoked it in AEW. They built her up. She built herself up. So yeah, man, whatever she does next, that NXT audience, if that's where she goes, they know everything that she did in AEW. The crossover is there. Just like, when Rick stepped in and they, loved him and Ricky Strokes and all that stuff. He's just crying. He's just making every sound he's ever thought to make ever.
He's trying to get your attention.
Oh my God. He's not trying to talk to his mom. He's not talking to me. But damn, I lost it. But we were talking about NXT and kind of what they do next. But yeah, I'm really curious kind of where the whole thing goes. How long Oba stays down there, if it's forever or if it's, they get him out of there. I'm really curious. Yeah.
Javon, you mentioned, is someone to me that is a tentpole NXT roster member for a little while longer. And part of that is because he's such a powerful character and he's a very popular one. Someone would say, oh, that's a reason to move him up. No, you need those tentpole characters. You need those wrestlers that people get behind, that you can keep on a brand for a little while longer. And he's young. And I know people will then say, well, then get him now while he's still young. No, there's time. There's still time. He can do guest spots on SmackDown, on Raw, wherever he fits in. But if he's the NXT champion at one point, if he's the guy who dethrones Obafemi, then you tell a story out of that. That is a David conquering Goliath, because Javon is hilarious. He's very skinny, but he's also very tall. And that just kind of gets people, you see him next to Ray Phoenix. Phoenix is, he's a little bulkier. And then you see Javon as a string bean, but he flies. And he's also like all of 6'3", like all of 6 foot. I mean that as a positive. He and Oba face to face, people don't realize like Oba's not that much taller. He's just physically bigger than Javon. So there's a look there that people I think are getting used to when it comes to Javon's physique.
I don't know what it was. It was Jeremy called you a coward for not staying up.
Often.
You know what makes you a real coward? If you don't go to Money in the Bank and go to the press conference and ask Triple H why he chose not to re-sign R-Truth. If you're not a coward, that's something that you would do. That is brought to you by AEW Enjoyer 47 with the Dick Murdoch Abbey. I hate these people. I hate them so fucking much.
That's the second question that we had to ask Triple H at this press conference.
After he hates Money in the Bank.
That's right.
Telling the fucking balls on you to be online without your real name, without your real face, to call someone a coward. I just needed to say it out loud. I just, you guys know, and I've always, I'm protective over the people who do what we do, because most of the people who do what we do are very nice people and well-meaning people. I'm a well-meaning person, but I'm not a nice person. So when people are being like overly mean, and again, they want you to be Walter Cronkite at the Barnum and Bailey Circus. Because part of what we cover is the Barnum and Bailey Circus. And they are watching in real time. The things like the press conference become less and less serious, which is, expected and disappointed, but also like you understand where that's going. But no, me, random person online, I need you to break through. I need you to nut up and get in there.
Oh, there's so many people that we just don't need in that room now. Don't start inviting the random Avies into this thing.
Wasn't Macho? Well, you didn't see him, Joe, because you weren't there.
Son of a bitch.
I think Macho Man guy was also sitting behind me once more, and again, that's when I knew. That's when I knew that it was different. When I tried to like say hi to that guy, like, hey, what's going on? And he just stared at me like I was the one who wasn't supposed to be there. I was like,
he's a wrestler. He's paying tribute to a wrestler.
I think that dude was because he was dressed two different guys. Didn't he do a Ric Flair cosplay?
How many Macho Mans are there?
But I'm pretty sure that this guy was actually a media member too. Like he was with a TV station because he had a guy with him. I think that guy was legit. There are people who like they get the on location, they sit in the back behind the camera and blah blah blah. I think this guy was actually like part of a TV reporting crew from God knows where. But
he's just a dickhead then. Okay, a dickhead with no money.
How is it? Ask him how his hair looks, and when he says it looks good, tell him it looks terrible, and then you walk away. You'll shatter him forever.
None of this sounds good.
Yeah.
Oh well.
A lot of fuck yous need to be passed out on Media Row. No, everybody's all very nice. But yeah, but it wasn't. We were talking about these like releases, and it wasn't my place to talk about it, and now it's been a while. But my editor at the Ringer was let go a little bit after WrestleMania. Shout out to Cal, and I told him, "Hey man, I'm trying to tell a story over here, bro."
Doesn't care one bit. Dog's going into business for himself.
I get it.
He's also emotional over it, right?
Yes.
But no, he we had that conversation, and I told Cal, I was like, you don't understand. You and Shoemaker and Kaz and Sparks, like you guys really changed my life. Like I'm able to do things that I never like planned on doing or desired to do, and now I get to do that, and it's the coolest thing in the world. And what's there to say? I don't. Am I gonna go up to like Bill Simmons and be like, let me tell you how to run things, brother?
That would be amazing if he did, though.
Yo, that'd be crazy. But it was very much like, yo, you did this for me, and people don't know how much goes into everything that I've written over there, how much you and I went back and forth, how much we've argued and debated about what should and should not stay in a piece. Like, and I feel like every time, the final product was always what it was supposed to be. And it was like working with a good engineer. If you're like a rapper or a singer, not the producer, but the engineer, the person who tweaks how you're supposed to sound and where you're supposed to put something. Like it was very much that. And like I said, I owe that guy the world. And this is never easy when things adjust like this. So when I watched everybody respond yesterday about what Truth meant to them, what he did for them, how they made him feel, I could very much echo that. You know what I mean? And it ain't my place to say who's supposed to work where, but it's always, I think, when you have those relationships, it's your place to say how they made you feel and what they did for you. So yeah. I'm sad now. I'm going to go answer these student emails, guys. Have a great rest of your show. I hope I get to talk to you guys soon.
Take care of yourself, Cam. It's always nice when he leaves on a high note, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, where were we about an hour ago?
Who could possibly care?
That's true. Tank top, Michael Cole tonight. I'm sure everyone's excited.
Yeah, I assume it's gonna be tonight. I don't know if maybe he waits a week so they could set up that the Pacers won and the Knicks lost. Then you got to build it, Joel. You got to build that.
They're in Tulsa. No, they're in Tulsa tonight. It's hot weather. You gotta get that hot weather going.
It would actually make sense to do it being in Oklahoma and the Pacers are playing the Thunder, so it would actually make a lot of sense to do it tonight,
also,
but we shall see.
You can't disrespect Gunther the next week, calling his world title match in a tank top. This is the go home to Money in the Bank. They're absolutely gonna give him an in the ring interview segment just to show it off to the crowd. They're absolutely gonna do it. They're gonna do it more than once. That's the problem. Oh boy. Anyway, that'll be later in your Raw preview when you think about how often you get to see Michael Cole wearing a tank top this afternoon or this evening. Vol sent a super chat saying, speaking of, we're going to move over the conversation after these super chats. Speaking of value of Triple H, I would put pen down money that a year from now, Brian Gewirtz is running creative and Paul is long gone. Time will tell. They've already moved stuff because of old Dwayne.
Yeah.
Who needs New Orleans, right?
I don't know. I don't know if he will. If it feels like he's going to be there for a while, but who knows? Who knows?
It feels like business would have to absolutely tank. There seems to be just a belief that he's doing his job, and that's, I don't know. I'm not going to try and.
I don't think business can tank. I'm not going to say it can't, but
there are no signs of it currently tanking.
Right. They're so protected with everything right now because they keep getting sponsorships. We can make what we want about the viewership, but they've signed these deals. So it doesn't really matter what the viewership is. They've already signed these deals.
Let me put it like this. Because he is the chief creative officer, if Netflix, because they have an out on their deal, if Netflix says not good enough, we're done, then yeah, you could potentially see a shakeup from the creative side of things. But as of right now, the deals are in place and it is where it is. So I doubt you'd see any movement like that.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd have to see attendance drop and you'd have to see viewership completely fall off a cliff. And I don't know if that's going to happen because now they got the benefit of the NHL and the NBA playoffs are wrapping. So you're not going to have to go up against that for the next few weeks until Monday Night Football, really a couple months until Monday Night Football kicks in, but that's only on Monday. They did a deal with the Big 12 where they're bringing SmackDown to Big 12 markets to work in conjunction with them. It's the problem when you decide you're not going to sign somebody like R-Truth. Is their business is so good right now. Say what you want about the creative. We talk about the creative. We talk about stuff we do and don't like on television. I think that portion can always be better in certain aspects, but you can't look at their business, especially when they're touting a record gate every single week. It's oh yeah, business is bad. Their business is so good. And that's again what makes the upsetting part of you're not going to pay these wrestlers what they should get out of it because your business wouldn't be as good without them. You still need your wrestlers to go out there and perform. I know they like to just do plug and play and we can put anybody in these positions, but that's not the case. It's just not.
No, it's not. I see Matthew Hook saying for a garbage product, I'll never understand it. And it's subjective entertainment at the end of the day. It's not for you. That's understandable. There's some stuff we like, some stuff we don't like across all of the wrestling companies, except for Ring of Hallucinations. But that, that comes soon.
It's not meant to be liked. It kind of is.
I was going to say it is meant to be liked, universally so. But regardless, it's subjective entertainment. And clearly we are often considered to be a vocal minority, quote unquote. And there's some proof of that. There is proof of that because they're still selling out and they're still raising ticket prices and coming close to sellouts. Again, they're not. There's no view of the top of the summit of their money making abilities. They have been creating more money opportunities. I got a new MacBook. Sold my old one, by the way. Facebook Marketplace finally came through. Got it for the price that I actually put it up for. I'm happy. So I got a new MacBook. I have this set up here. I've got a space here that I could set up, a new table and get my other, monitor, set it up over here. That table tomorrow, I could go out and find it, and it's going to have a giant Slim Jim logo on it. Okay. That's how much money WWE is making and how many deals they're making for the most ridiculous shit out there. And if you think I'm joking, they have a new deal with Slim Jim where they're going to put the logos on select tables and use them in matches.
Yeah. Get ready to chant, "We want Slim Jim tables." I realize that doesn't fully roll off the tongue, but if Max Caster can teach a seminar on how to do chants, then so can I. We want Slim Jim tables.
Yeah, that's just a 5-4 count.
We want Slim Jim tables. We want Slim Jim tables.
You just add another 2 beats and now you got it. We want Slim Jim tables. Dun, 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 dun. We want. See, now it flows better. This is a music lesson 101 for everybody.
Snap into a Slim Jim table, everybody. You know that call is going to be so, oh man, Michael Cole is going to have a field day with just, oh, he really snapped into the Slim Jim table.
Oh, you're going to have Pat McAfee doing his Macho Man.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be
It's going to be just something.
See, actually, you know what? If the tables were made out of Slim Jims, then I'd be like, all right, cool. I saw somebody post on the comments, like, just go all out. Like, why aren't the ropes made of Twizzlers? Like, you know what? The ropes should be Twizzlers. That would fucking rule.
The ropes should be Slim Jims.
We're doing this at Ring of Hallucinations, by the way. The ropes are Twizzlers. Okay, they're nerd ropes. We're gonna have different kind of candy ropes. This is our specialty matches. We got the nerd rope match, Twizzlers, Slim Jims, different types of jerky. What airheads? We can make ropes out of airheads. I'm pretty sure we will make that work. Different kind, yeah. We're gonna do different kind of candy ropes for our specialty matches. Just different kind of candy. Just candy death matches. But the way you lose is you got to force feed your opponent all the candy until they die. Just a sugar crash. That's what we're doing, everybody. Ring of Hallucinations. Get it together.
So who's the first person who's going to go through a Slim Jim table? It'll be set up by LA Knight.
Yeah, I was going to say LA Knight's probably going to put that person. But it starts on Raw tonight, I think. They got a center logo gimmick as well.
Of course they do.
Yeah.
For the month, and then it'll be shifted around the ring canvas.
Yeah. Who goes through the table tonight? It should be what a way to like put over the seriousness of like Seth Rollins, Bronson Reed, and Braun Breaker. Nothing's a super serious heel stable group like putting somebody through a Slim Jim table.
I wonder if these are conversations that are being had about creative when they do this. Like, guys, we got to figure out who's going through the Slim Jim table in this match. And so they have to say the Slim Jim table. They have to get this, and they have to separate now underneath the ring where all this stuff is, all the toys. They now have to put the Slim Jim tables and the regular tables because the branded ones are for the funny spots and the real ones are for the serious spots. So you got to figure out which one you're supposed to grab from. Whole other just a problem for wrestlers to have to deal with. I feel bad. It should be Big Slim Jim Uso.
I mean, he lost a family member, so he kind of does like need a rebrand, honestly.
He has no friends. He comes out and saves his friend R-Truth, and what comes out? Nothing.
Yeah.
Fired.
Yeah.
Husky son and all. Oh, man. Let's get a couple more super chats. Bushin Road Ryukat, who then rebranded to Bushi Road, asks, Ron ever say what Truth name was for? What the Truth name was for? That was just his gimmick name.
It was Ron Truth.
Yeah, it was Ron the Truth Killings.
Yeah.
NWA superstar, Ron the Truth Killings. Former NWA World Champion, Ron the Truth Killings. And of course, it replies, well, sorry, I can't help it, boys. TK needs to make Ricochet, Action Andretti, and Leo Rush the new AEW Trios champs. Fast money.
I still don't like Andretti and Leo Rush being the group members for Ricochet. I think Gates of Agony would be a better use there, but I do like the name Fast Money. That's pretty good.
Solo Sikoa just got his Slim Jimmed. Sounds so bad.
Everything's just every move is going to be sponsored.
It will be. The Bronze Breaker snap into a Spear of the Night. Goldberg's jackhammer is going to be called like the Twizzler jackhammer.
What's the they just signed a deal with Seagrams as well, and now the Seagram Stomp by Seth Rollins. Like, just every move is just going to have to be sponsored.
One hit of that Seagram Stomp and you'll be on the floor and out cold.
Like, all of Bronson Reed's no longer going to have the Tsunami. It's just going to be the Seagram Splash. That's the whole group. That whole group was sponsored by Seagrams. We got the Seagram Spear, the Seagram Stomp, and the Seagram Splash. They just all come out drinking their Seagrams, just enjoying themselves. Do we have any Seagrams?
No.
Can we get some?
I've got so when my dad passed.
Okay. Yeah, can we get some Seagrams?
Seems bad.
That's going to be the new Friday bit, is I'm just going to drink a bunch of Seagrams instead of Mana.
Okay, well, good.
Seagrams is alcohol, though, I think.
You bet it is.
Yeah, no. The Seagrams we're talking about is alcohol, not ginger ale. Oh, all right. I can drink just Seagram's ginger ale. We're a family show, allegedly.
Allegedly.
No, definitely not.
Let me catch up.
Look, I love our children. These dumbass kids want to go to the pool, and it's like 60 degrees outside. I don't know what they're doing.
Let them go.
The wife is taking them.
Perfect.
The wife's taking them.
Perfect. They'll do the polar plunge, and then they'll get out and be like, it's cold. And they'll be like,
they're not even going to do that. They're going to get 2 feet into the water and be like, this is a bad idea. This is a god-awful idea.
So, you know how I realized Seagrams is still a thing? By this WWE deal, because
it's time to deal with WWE.
Well, when my dad died, we had we're not a drinking family. My mom's not a drinker. My siblings aren't drinkers. Like, I was the next one, and I don't even drink that much. Oh,
are you going to get in the pool?
Absolutely not. I'm not even
coward.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm wearing a hoodie and sweatpants.
I might rollerblade up there, and then I'll jump in. Then it might feel good. Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. Is like a very steep hill to try to blade up. I brought rollerblades over the weekend, Joel. That was my big to do over the weekend, because the kids like skating, and I used to play hockey, not anything professional, just leagues around the town and whatnot. And so the kids like skating. I was like, oh man, I want to skate again. We go skating every now and again. But so I bought some rollerblades, and it's nice to be back on skates. I ordered a hockey stick. Kids don't even play hockey or anything. I just bought one for myself so I could just like deke around them and just own them.
You're such a dick.
Yeah.
Did you buy these on Facebook Marketplace?
No, I bought no. So like I got the rollerblades at Play It Again Sports. They're like $40. They're nice rollerblades too. So they were like $40. And then like the Play It Again around here. Dude, I went to Dick's. And they had no hockey stuff at Dick's Sporting Goods.
Yeah, Dick's sucks.
Well, I think it's also because like Ohio's not like, I mean, we got Columbus, we got the Blue Jackets, but where Columbus is like a few hours away. Like Cleveland has a hockey team that's a little bit closer, but where I'm at, like they just don't have much hockey going on. So I went to Dick's. Like, you guys got any hockey stuff? And the customer service lady was like, I wish. I was like, oh, that's not a good sign. So they didn't have any. They had like a couple sticks that Play It Again, but they were all too short for me. They're all like kid sticks. So like I wasn't going to use that. The wife sent me, she's like, oh, what about sticks like this? And it's those, the plastic screw-on ones. And I'm like, nope, I'm too much of a hockey stick snob to like,
no floor hockey for you.
Yeah, I was like, no, I can't use those sticks. So like I just got like a cheap one. Not like the plastic screw on. It's still like a plastic insert, but it's not like or not plastic. It's still like a fiber insert, but it was like $25 or something. And that, but it doesn't come till Thursday, which I'm very sad about. But I got street hockey balls. They're here, but I can't use them because I don't have a stick yet. But yeah, I just bought myself a stick so I could just go out on the street and just like deke around the kids and just own them and bump them out of the way and everything. And they're good skaters, like, especially for their various ages. But I'm much better, so I'm just gonna skate around them and just like completely own them, like I would do at basketball as well. That was my big weekend, everybody, just skating. That's all.
I had to look up because you mentioned Cleveland has a hockey team. I'm like, no, they don't. They have an AHL team.
Yeah, AHL. That's what I was talking about. The Monsters. Yeah.
Did you know that there used to be a Cleveland NHL team?
Cleveland NHL team?
Yeah.
No.
The Cleveland Barons played until about 77, 78. Until they merged with the Minnesota North Stars. There you go. There's your hockey trivia of the day. I had to look up. I was like, what is in Cleveland? And I was like, not much. But no, it turns out there is that.
Yeah, I knew there was Cleveland, the Monsters, the AHL team. That's where Jared Bednar coached before becoming the coach of the Avs. So yeah. True. I'm gonna go skate after this show. Maybe, get some skating in. The pool is like 3 miles away, maybe even more than that, which isn't like terrible. Like I used to back in the day when I was more into running. I would make that run to the pool, and it wasn't too bad. I think you feel really. It's like it's hot out, so getting in the pool feels really good, but like there is like this giant hill that like trying to skate up does feel a little bit. I don't know if I'm gonna make it up there. So we'll see. I mean, but it's not even worth it because it's like 60 degrees out. So like I can't even break like a good sweat in 60-degree weather. Like it's just wind at you, and then like you're jumping into like a 40-degree pool. That sucks. I'd rather just take a shower. You know what I mean? Like then I can at least have a good temperature degree water hit me instead of this 40-degree water. These kids, they're gonna learn. They're gonna learn that jumping into 40-degree pool water ain't very fun.
So anyway, the point of the Seagram story I was telling was that we found an old bottle of Seagram's Crown Royal, and I gave it to my father-in-law, so he's got it, and that's a bottle from like 64, something like that.
I expect everyone to send me mana if the Oklahoma City Thunder win or lose the championship, because
playing both sides to the scenario.
Well, yeah, if we win, then like it's cause for celebration, and if we lose, I'm not doing the show. If we lose the championship, I'm not doing the show the next day. I'm going to be too miserable.
Clarified. Yeah, that's fair. I'm going to be. Hope you're listening.
Or you might have to do it.
Oh shit! It could be a Thursday or a Tuesday. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I'm not going to do it because I'm going to be too depressed. I've already told the wife, I'm like, just don't bother me for like a whole week at least if we don't win. Like, just lock me in the room, go about your life, to marry someone who is more stable, whatever you need to do. Just don't bother me for a week if they lose, because I will not be worth speaking to at that point. No, I would understand. I would understand if you did.
I'd be totally fine with you doing
You can
that.
take a new lover as I sit in my depression for a week.
Are you going to get a chair? Put it in the corner of your room.
No, I'll move out.
Depression cuck chair for Jeremy.
Yeah. I'll move out of the house.
John Cena, unfortunately, he's married, so there you go. If they win, Joel has to cover ROH. Nope, we don't have anyone doing that at all.
Yeah, we don't have anybody doing that, period. So,
oh man. All right, let's finish off a couple SmackDown notes, and then we'll move over to Collision, because there was actually a bit of something with the Bianca return. There was talk about her having a big surprise return. WrestleVotes had reported that apparently, as of 6 p.m. Friday, the plan was for Bianca to enter with the University of Tennessee marching band, And that didn't happen for whatever reason. So
Cowardly.
that's just something to put out there. That was the big return promo. Instead, they got to do Rocky Top and force everyone to sing it like they know it. Do you know Rocky Top?
No.
Neither do I. I've never been to I've been to Nashville. Who am I kidding?
I've been to Tennessee, but I don't know Rocky Top.
Nobody should. It's fine. Yeah, that was really the only note, because otherwise there was that 30 minutes of talking and finished off SmackDown.
Good luck. All right.
Go find it. Go find that pool. Good luck.
Just bless. I know.
That's fine. So what do we think? Mello and Miz, is that Miz's final feud in WWE?
Mello and Miz? Wait, what?
Miz, he dropped all the WWE stuff from his socials, so people are now talking like it's a thing.
Did Miz? I thought Gunther did.
Gunther wiped it apparently, but Miz, from his, at least from his Twitter and I think his IG, he's like pivoted to golf content because he's got a YouTube channel where he does golf content.
Oh, good for him.
Okay, everyone should have a backup. That's wrestling and non-wrestling. So there was that. Pop Lexa strike again. And the person, it's perfect. Yeah, this is Miz unfollowed WWE. Real or not, that
Really?
stuff always makes me laugh. It's like so and so has beef with them because they unfollowed each other on socials.
You know what? I mean, I see like all of his content is like golf related. I mean,
He's
look,
been with the company for almost 20 years now. Like he's
Maybe.
been around.
maybe his. I don't know. I might speculate on
No,
Miz,
up to him.
but yeah, like whatever. Like Miz feels like a dude who should be there for life, but after the truth stuff, then who knows? Who really knows? But Miz, that's the thing with Miz though, is like he's got options that are already set past WWE. Like, yeah, I see he's doing all this golf stuff. He's hosting American Gladiators. He could jump. He could literally whatever television gig he wants, he could get immediately. If he wants to be on ESPN as the talking head talking about football, he could easily do that. If he wants to be a late night host or whatever, that he could get that gig. The Miz could get literally any gig he wants off of his work. So that's one dude that, like, yeah, WWE should definitely keep him around because he's just good for PR and, you know, he's a great brand ambassador. That's a dude you ain't worried about at all. Like,
Yeah, Miz got all the praise because they were like, if you want someone to wake up at 5 a.m. to go do PR all day, he'll do it. He'll go do every interview you ask of him. No, Miz was and is that guy.
yeah,
We'll see.
that's crazy that he just wiped all of his stuff. But
It's
look,
not newsworthy. It's just nothing but speculation at this point. That's why I bring it up kind of tongue in cheek.
yeah. I mean, after this weekend, like nobody is. You don't feel good about anybody being like, yeah, that guy's definitely gonna be there for forever. Like, yeah, nope.
Yeah, just kind of go where it goes. Yeah, he's an authentically nice person. Everyone says that with this.
Super nice. I mean, you know, he plays a dick on television, but
Those are
I've
usually
had-
the nicest people.
I've had one interaction with Miz, and it was very brief, but he was just very kind. It was literally just like a, "Hey, how are you? Thanks for coming" type of deal. And again, just very kind. But he did it with everybody. It was just like just going up and just like saying thank you to everybody, and just like, by all accounts, a very nice guy.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see where the Miz, what he does and what his plans are, because who knows? Maybe it's something, maybe it's nothing. Let's talk AEW for a bit. Stuck Collision.
No.
Okay. It's a great time. Thanks everyone for checking us out. We'll be back tomorrow. Can we talk about Claudio and the Death Rider entrances that they keep doing, where they're in a random red backlit area of the arena? We've talked about this before. The one with Wheeler was hilarious because they took these chairs, these tables, these circular tables, and stacked them on top of each other, and then made him sit in a circle and blasted red lights at it to have him do the entrance where he goes through the crowd. That stuff's hilarious. Claudio this week, if you watch it from the beginning, he shot from like behind the stands and they put some weird lighting and drapery down, and then it's just one light thing aimed at the wall. That's all they do. And then he walks through the crowd. We got to stop it. The Death Riders are not supposed to be this weird, like, from the darkness group. Please just stop presenting them this way. Let them walk through the back. Let them do that. Just the old school elevator one. Actually, that was funny. That one was good, where they had him come out through the old elevator and open the doors and walk through. But some of them have been so cheesy. And Claudio coming out to Moonlight Sonata is still funny to me. I mentioned that way back when it started. People were like, "What song is this?" Well, it's Moonlight Sonata, and it's very cheesy. Anyway, Claudio had a good match. He's going to be in the 4-way for the International Championship on the 4-hour episode of Dynamite coming up this Wednesday. Are you excited, Jeremy? 4 hours of AEW for the next 2 weeks?
It's fine. I'm very curious in how they pace those shows. I don't like that. I don't mind 4-hour show. I really don't. And I realize they can't move this up to 7 o'clock because they're networks and everything. Although I'm sure if they ask, they might be able to pull it off. But 8 to 12 it's just going to be a long night. And I'm very curious again how they pace these shows, because they have a good lineup for Wednesday's show. Like it's a strong card, and I know the matches will be good. There's a difference between pacing a television show with commercial breaks and everything and pacing a pay-per-view where you can just you can build the ups and downs with the action. And Double or Nothing, I thought their pacing was very good. I thought the layout was very good on how they structured the matches and the order that they put them in. With this show, it's going to be a little bit more difficult because, as good as it is on paper, like, you don't have the stakes to these matches that you did at Double or Nothing. You don't have the story beats to these matches that you did at Double or Nothing. And again, it's a 4-hour television show where you got to work in commercial breaks and everything. And that's more difficult to do than a pay-per-view where people have paid their money and they want to be up for all of this. I'm talking people watching at home, not those who go to the show. So people watching at home, like, you got to give them a reason essentially to stick around until midnight. Like, you can't burn them out before midnight, but you also got to keep them invested until midnight. And that's tougher to do with a television show than it is with a pay-per-view. As good as, again, I think it's a strong card on paper, but it's just tough. And they did a good job of this with the Dynamite and Rampage 3-hour blocks, because they distinctly made those different. I don't think they're going to make this distinctly different. I think it's just going to feel like a 4-hour show, and 4 hours obviously just tougher to do than 3 hours as well. Like, just math. It's an hour longer.
There's a benefit to where they are for the next 2 weeks. They're in Denver, so timing wise, they're 2 hours back from Eastern Standard.
Yeah, sure.
And then in Portland, so they're 3 hours back. So they're on West Coast time is really what I'm getting at. So there is an opportunity. Yeah, they're Mountain Time for Colorado.
Yeah, Colorado.
Pacific for Portland. So at least for a live crowd, it's early enough that it's not necessarily going to be the longest night ever. But for us who are East Coast, it'll be a bit of a later night. You're going to go until midnight. And like you said, you have to keep certain time zones engaged long enough to be watching the show the whole time. I'll be upfront. I'll be honest, like I am with this stuff. I'm going to watch Dynamite the first 2 hours, and then I'm going to turn it off and watch the other 2 hours the next morning, because I just don't have the bandwidth to stay up that late, knowing that my kid's going to wake up at 6 a.m, and I'm not going to do this show on minimal sleep. For those asking in the chat, by the way, there is no collision on this Saturday or the following Saturday. Both shows are operating as their own 4-hour blocks.
They're also in a tough spot, because not only is it a 4-hour show, which are like, if you're a wrestling fan, like that might be a little much, but game 1 of the Stanley Cup final hockey is on Wednesday. game 3 of the NBA finals is next Wednesday. So you got tough competition nights as well. Like you're up against a playoff game both nights, a final game both nights. And I don't always think there's major overlap, but there's clearly some overlap in those. And I already know people are burying the NBA of like, oh, nobody's going to watch Oklahoma City against Indiana. Like, fine, maybe that's true. But there's still some overlap, and the NBA still draws a big number for the finals. So you're going to lose viewership just on going up against the finals. I think, I don't know how much the interest there is in the Stanley Cup final this year because it's a rematch. I think rematches can bring some viewership, but I also think that others are just like kind of turned off by, we saw this matchup last year. But I think when you have McDavid going for his first and you have Florida, who's been to 3 straight finals and they're looking to repeat, like there's some intriguing storyline on this.
Yeah, it will attract viewers, but it's not like it's going to be a juggernaut of a viewership. I mean, in Canada, it'll do very well because there's a Canadian team in the finals again. And like we talked about on Friday, almost half of that Edmonton team are Canadians. So people are going to be invested in that as well. And then all the other stories that you mentioned, will Connor McDavid finish the story? That's his, that's all you need. Cody Rhodes is going to show up and suddenly be a huge Oilers fan. And that's going to be enough for everyone. I know we jest, but Henry's saying if this was TNA, Joel would stay up. No, I didn't stay up for the live impact that was on at 10:30 at night. I did not stay up for all of the last show, Under Siege. I am not going to stay up to watch Against All Odds on Friday because that starts at 10:30 Eastern. I'm not. No, if it were TNA, I would not be staying up for it. You could tell me Mike Santana is going to win the title that night. I'll be like, great. I'll see you in the morning.
Yeah,
I value my sanity in my sleep.
Yeah, he doesn't care. Joel isn't watching TNA or AEW or any wrestling promotion that late.
Live doesn't matter, baby. I can just turn off my socials and ignore it until the next day.
He's a coward.
Exactly. I will say this. I'm really pleasantly surprised that this Fyter Fest card they've given a lot already, and we're still a few days away. Like as of Saturday night, they have a ton of stuff announced, and we'll talk about it in a few minutes. But yeah, just going in with the rest of this episode of Collision, there was some fun stuff. Rocky Romero wins Wrestling for the Week. He won the match by giving Tomohiro Ishii a low blow. He didn't win it, but he caused the victory for his team. So Paragon sucks, and Rocky Romero's the best. That's what you do. You hit him in the dick.
Okay.
Okada's unserious again. He goes 10 minutes with Anthony Bowens. It's over. I'm sorry.
What's over?
The Okada, the Rainmaker retrieval. He's back. He's back in his comedy bag. It's gone.
Yeah, he was always going to be that way on television. And now, whoever he faces next, be like, I want the old Okada. That's going to be the whole buildup for him and Kenny. Like, I wanted the old Okada. I want the guy who I wrestled at the Tokyo Dome. That's what I want.
One guy in the chat asking, are we live or pre-recorded? We're pre-recorded. We actually did this 3 weeks ago. Thank you.
Yeah, nothing has ever been live.
That's true. Everything is fake.
Yeah.
Take the red pill.
It's all AI.
That's right. Don't take the red pill. Don't take the red pill. Take the green pill. Oh my God, no! The scissor spot with the finger was fun, by the way. Okada giving the finger and again the scissor. But Henry's saying in the chat, like, why is he still scissoring? That's a good question.
The presentation of Bowens has been off in a lot of ways, like it's just been off. They could do more, they could do less. But what they're doing right now, just the thing, like they're trying to. Typically, when they have a person lose to like top guys, like losing to Ricochet and losing to Okada, it's to set up them winning against top guys or them like going into something different. But that goes kind of one of two ways a lot of times. Like you could like Swerve lost a couple of big matches early and then of course broke out and became Swerve. Daniel Garcia lost some big matches early and then he became Daniel Garcia. Like, I think they've tried with Daniel Garcia, but there's been some presentation issues with him. as well. I just don't know if this is like working with Bowens. Like,
No, it's not. The answer is no, it's not. You know what's interesting and weird about all this, by the way? He went the second longest match of the night on Collision with Okada. The only other match that was longer was the main event. And it wasn't a bad match. He held his own, did Anthony Bowens. They had a solid match. You can argue that, like, oh yeah, no, night with Okada is an easy night. It's not always. Sometimes chemistry is not there, but no, they did a good job. It was a good match. But Bowens just lacks the direction and the character that's going to move him forward. I don't know what that is for him, but I just know that, like, he's doing the things. It's just not gaining the momentum. But let's also get rid of Billy Gunn. I was expecting Billy and Okada to like have a face-to-face where eventually one of them calls him a bitch, the other one says suck it, and then we're off to the races. And that, you know, summer blockbuster, it's going to be Okada versus Billy Gunn for the international, no, the continental title. They're two titles working as one. That's what I thought it was going to be, but no, it's not.
I said this at the time, so I'm not hindsight 2020ing this. Him returning and beating Max Caster, I don't think was as big of a deal as they were hoping it would be, because all they did was beat Max Caster before that. And Caster got himself over through that. But it's not like Caster was this over-the-top jerk who never got his comeuppance. He got beat at every single turn in 5 seconds. So, yeah, you got annoyed by him, but then you knew you were going to see him get his ass beat by whoever came out. So doing the same thing with Bowens, as cool as it was, because it's, the Acclaimed, and Bowens is finally getting his revenge for, you know, Max Caster breaking away from him or whatever it might be. It's like, well, everyone beats up Max Caster. So why does that make Anthony Bowens special? Because he beat up Max Caster. I think that would have worked better if Max had been beating a bunch of enhancement talents and did the best wrestler alive, did his whole shtick the same way, but when he does his open challenge, here comes Joe Jobber, and he gets beat in 30 seconds, and he keeps doing that for weeks on end, and then Anthony Bowens comes out of the pay-per-view, and he beats Max. Then Bowens gains something from that, because I don't think Bowens really gained anything for beating a dude who everybody was already beating.
Yeah, you didn't really do it. Yeah, you did it backwards. Before we move on to the Max Caster segment, because I have questions. Did anyone notice Okada's bicep looked a little messed up? His Rainmaker arm was bruised on the inside. I hope that he is okay. He clearly did the whole match, but you can see some discoloration up here. And just if you go back and watch just for 2 seconds, get a shot of his Rainmaker arm, the one he does. There was some discoloration, some deep bruising underneath. Could have been from something he did earlier in the night because Collision was taped, but just wanted to put that out there. Hopefully it's nothing, and I'm just putting it out there.
Okay.
What was that Max Caster segment? What was the point? So he's trying to get the All Elite Experience people to not only do the chant, but then he wanted them to sign a petition to recognize him as the greatest wrestler alive. And then when they did best wrestler alive, and when he got a few signatures, not all of them, he then said, okay, now line up for pictures, and he runs away. What's the idea here? They've already paid, and they didn't pay him. So what are we trying to get across here? That he's just a dick? Because he's already a dick. This didn't really add anything. It was just very strange. But what did he con them out of? Their signatures?
Yeah, their signatures.
They were already loving it. They were already there with big smiles on their faces, like, Max Caster's here. I love him. It was very weird. It wasn't a good segment, but it just made me laugh because it made no sense. Which is basically Max Caster in a nutshell right now. At least what Max is doing. It's more interesting than Bowens. It's such a, oh God, It's such a short leash. Anyway, Rush's green cable still makes me laugh. Only he can use the green cable that's now stashed under the ring for him. No one else. Okay. I would have liked it if I saw it live, says Kate. That's probably true, but I didn't, so it was stupid. Is there anything else in Collision that we have to bring up? Obviously, in the main event, you did have Hechicero drop the fall to Mascara Dorada, so the four-way at Fyter Fest, which again, I'm giving them full credit for. AEW is telling you that Fyter Fest is going to be a loaded show. The International Championship four-way, Kenny Omega, of course, champion against Brody King, Mascara Dorada, and Claudio Castagnoli. You've got Timeless Tony Storm and Mina Shirakawa teaming up to take on Julia Hart and Sky Blue, and Mercedes is on commentary. That's a good match that that they put up from Collision, because Sky Blue, I know you're a huge fan, big fan of Sky Blue coming back to singles competition after for 300 plus days. I get it. I'm very proud of you for sitting through that match live, showing how much of a fan you are. Tony made the save for Mina when Julia Hart got involved. So that's a tag match. And Mercedes will talk her shit on commentary. That'll be fun. Hurt Syndicate's going to talk. Max is front row center in the Hurt Syndicate promo shot, if you look at it now. The four faces. So something to pay attention to. Mox and Mark Briscoe, because Mark passed out in the Bulldog choke. He said, daddy ain't no bitch. It'll be a fun show. It'll be a fun match. I'm looking forward to that. Tekla's first match in AEW. She makes her in-ring debut. Who's she going to face? And why is it Lady Frost?
Oh, Lady Frost is a good call. Could be Lady Frost.
Is there anyone else from Colorado who could be on the show?
Lady Frost is fine.
All right. Lady Frost and Tekla. When it happens, I expect full marks from the crowd. A renegade. Could be a renegade, but probably not. Who's friends with what's her face? With Jamie Hayter. Could be another Brit.
Baker.
Not Baker. Stop it. She's too busy being challenged to hair versus hair matches for Thunder Rosa. We are attached to the hip even though we haven't been together in years. Sure, TR.
Sure. Bless bless that they're trying with something, they are, you got to give them credit that
Of course
Thunder Rosa is going to go out there and at least try to get her name out there, and she thinks that Britt Baker is a good way to get her name out there because of their history, and I don't think she's really wrong. I just don't think it's going to amount to much of anything.
This was a Molly Holly WrestleMania get me on the card.
It was just in her vlog. It's not even it was this big thing. It was just, she just threw it out there on her vlog, and it wasn't even what I led with this. I held on to that challenge just till this morning to I'll post this article in the morning. Her talking about being frustrated losing all the time was way more, but that got no traction.
I thought that see that as creative. People just see that as she's losing matches. This one was her saying, this was her Hail Molly is what we can call it at this point. She wants to be on the WrestleMania card. Hair versus hair is how you guarantee it.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, that's how Molly Holly got a spot on the WrestleMania card.
Yeah.
So anyway, we'll see who Tekla gets to beat up in her in-ring debut on Wednesday. They're also promoting FTR versus Atlantis Jr. and Templario. This was a good segment, actually, from FTR. I think they did a really good job doing the heat of talk. And then one of the luchadors would say, okay. And then they just pull the mic away and just keep going. I thought that was really obnoxious, funny shit. I'm sure you love them reading the EI lyrics from Nelly. Sure you
that was good. That was good from Stokely.
Very silly, stupid shit. Bring back FTR's minor key theme. They did it for 1 week and then they stopped it. It was a very good theme that made no sense to anyone but me. Makes them bad guys when you play it on a minor key. But Atlantis Jr., he's solid. They say he's cooking on the mic. I wouldn't go so far as to say he was cooking, but he definitely had very, very strong English, which is nice to see. And it was good. I thought the segment really set things up well for this match. Whatever happened in the beatdown, they had a really awkward transition. They had to show the crowd for a second when they did the beatdown of Templario and Atlantis, and then they went back to it. So something happened. Somebody slipped on a banana peel. Don't know what it was. Did you know? Did you slip on the banana peel?
No.
Okay, just making sure. And of course, you've got La Facción Ingobernable taking on Commander Kevin Knight, who returns from New Japan, and Speedball Mike.
Why are we previewing Dynamite?
I'm previewing Dynamite because I want to prove to these people that, damn it, they're actually putting a lot out there going into.
What are we going to do on Wednesday now?
We're not. That's the thing. We're just not going to talk about AEW at all on Wednesday. It's going to be all about Trick and A.
Trick and A?
That's what he's calling it. It's awful.
Have you ever smashed tricks, Joel?
No. What are we doing?
I'm asking a question.
Seems bad. Someone asked where I see the world title from Trick lasting till Slammiversary.
Okay. I was just asking if you've ever smashed tricks.
Nope.
Okay.
Someone I never speak to asked me, how's Tricks? And I was like, I'm not replying to you. You said happy birthday. That's it. I said thank you, and that was it. Listen, man, you decided you bring me into your band to work. Then the pandemic hits.
I didn't do any of this.
Not you. I mean, talking to the person who's not watching. You bring me into your band. You have me on tour. The world shuts down while we're on tour. And then you boot me from your band to bring back your old bass player to record your next album like a bitch, even though you'd been apparently talking about it for long enough, and now you want to be friends? Come on, man. Don't bother me. Don't bother me. Wednesday will be 2 hours of TNA talk.
That sounds terrible.
Trick and A. Let's talk about it.
What?
For 2 hours.
What?
That's what he's calling it. He's calling it Trick and A.
Who?
It sounds like he's saying F and A, but it's Trick and A. Who's saying it? I'll give you a hint. It's the guy whose name starts with Trick. NA.
I don't like any of this.
Me neither. But we'll also preview Dynamite again because stuff will, I'm sure, be added because
I don't know if that much is going to be added, honestly.
This is like a Dynamite's worth of stuff right now.
They got some long matches and stuff. I think you might be I think they've already like put out the big graphic too, like the big rundown graphic. Typically they don't do that unless that's kind of it. They might add some like talking segments, but I don't think you're gonna like they got to add something with like Hangman, Swerve, and Ospreay.
Yeah, you got to do Swerve and Ospreay. Not necessarily a match, but you got to do something with them.
I don't think you're gonna get like too much more added, honestly.
Nah. What if Joe Hendry called him a bitch?
Called who a bitch?
Called who a bitch? Called Trick a bitch? Probably will.
Oh, you should call Joel a bitch. That'd be funny.
No, he's too busy dodging questions about tapings. There's a time for the call inserts, and sorry, we're on the main channel. I gotta be nice. Go watch my interview with Trick. Go watch my interview with Joe Hendry when he was still holding that belt. Now it's Trick and A. Anyway,
stop saying that.
Let's talk about it. But if you want an all-timer, by the way, go watch the TNA review from this past Thursday. We definitely went in, and it was very funny. We gotta get out of here. We don't have to, but we got nothing else to talk about, do we?
Stop saying Trick and A.
All right, we'll see what Thursday brings. Maybe by Friday we'll be talking about Trick and A.
Oh my gosh.
Raw tonight, Tulsa, Oklahoma. 2 things have been announced as of right now. I'm sure 2:30 will bring more stuff announced. Men's Money in the Bank qualifier, El Grande Americano, CM Punk and AJ Styles. Is El Grande Americano going to be?
That'd be funny if he won, but I don't think he's going to win.
Well, Punk's not going to climb ladders. AJ Styles, it's his birthday today.
He doesn't have to climb a ladder to win the match.
No, I mean, well, he does have to climb a ladder to win Money in the Bank. Unless he can climb one of those Slim Jim tables.
Yeah, that's possible, right?
Good balance act if you can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think
you could get a very tall friend, you know?
Omos.
There you go.
Yeah, he's
Omos and what if Omos and Punk team up? That'd be sweet.
See
Omos Punk. Yeah.
There you go. Grande Americano has a match that afternoon at Worlds Collide. Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Eric, because also
no, he doesn't.
What are you talking about? Oh, Chad Gable has a match. That's what I was trying to
Yeah.
get to. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because Chad Gable has a match. But if you want to talk about someone who does have a match at Worlds Collide, you've got the women's Money in the Bank qualifying match tonight. It's Liv Morgan, Stephanie Vaquer, and Ivy Nile. And I'm pretty sure that they're not just bringing up Stephanie Vaquer after dropping her NXT Women's Championship for nothing, even though Stephanie is also working Worlds Collide earlier that afternoon in the tag match where her and Lola Vice will take on Dallas and, oh my God, Chick Tormenta.
Yeah.
So who knows? She's going to pull double duty.
I would assume so. I mean, Liv winning would make some sense too, though. Is they obviously love Liv, and I could see her winning this match. I mean, Ivy Nile's there to take the pin. Sorry, Ivy, but
Poor Ivy Nile.
That's what you're going to be there for.
What if Stephanie Vaquer pins Liv Morgan?
Probably not.
Yeah,
Probably not. I think that on Styles and Punk and El Grande Americano, I kind of think AJ might win. I think Seth might screw over Punk. At least, like, if I'm Seth with his group, that's what I would do. Like, keep him out of the match. It's no DQ. It's triple threat. So you know they're going to do a bunch of run-ins because they love that stuff. So I would have, if I'm Seth's group, hit him with the Seagram stomp, put him through the Slim Jim table. Make sure you get on the Johnson & Johnson rope. Don't slip. You know, what other sponsors? Make sure you get on the Real American mic and explain all your actions. You know,
dude wipes.
Get them with the dude wipes. Yeah. Just toss the dude wipes on them.
Just wipe them down. Dude wipe them down.
Clean yourself up. You dead.
Yeah, those who are asking in the chat, Miz and Gunther are not gone. Neither of them have gone anywhere.
Gunther literally just resigned not too long ago. Like, that is at least public knowledge that he has said. So I don't think that there's any worry of like him going anywhere.
There was somebody who would like routinely wipe their socials who was wrestling. And it's not because they were saying anything. It was just because they routinely would wipe their socials. Forget who it was, but yeah.
All of them.
Wheatley's, drink your Wheatley's, Neatley's, and then go punch someone in the face. While you're in a suit, duck down, get the upward.
That dumbass move. God, he does it I swear he does it just to upset me.
Cody, if you're watching, come and join us. We could talk about your podcast.
There's no other reason to do this move for every single appearance. Speaking of SmackDown, we didn't talk about this. I'm over this nonsense with John Cena. He just gets beat up again. This sucks. All of this sucks.
It does.
Oh, here comes John Cena. He's going to cut a promo that's not all that great and then get beat up and look stupid. It all sucks. Can John Cena not get one up? Just one. I'm not even asking for a whole lot. But I watch him get beat up every week. So then you go into the pay-per-view. It's like Triple H just forgot how to book a heel. This man spent his entire career as a heel studying the tapes of Ric Flair and completely ripping off all the things Ric Flair and annoyed people to the point that they wanted him to lose the title. The bloodline stuff was good, and I know it may have gone long and Sami Zayn extended life and everything, but there was real heel heat with the bloodline. And it wasn't just let's interfere in all of Roman's matches so he wins. Roman Reigns was made to look strong in so many segments. How many times did Roman Reigns get laid out on television throughout the course of his run?
When it was with a family member, all the time.
What do you mean?
Whenever he was facing a family member, i.e.
Okay,
it was all the time. No, I'm playing to your point. It rarely happened unless it was in reference to his family.
And then you got to the pay-per-view and you were like, yeah, I want to see Roman lose. Like, this is what I want to see. And then he'd win and you'd be pissed off. And then you do it again. I don't even want to see Cena lose at this point. I'm like, he gets beat up every week and then you're going to give me the same match. that he does. It's just so, it just sucks, man. Look, if Cena asked for it, then fine, he's in the wrong. If Triple H is this is the way he's booking it, he's in the wrong. I don't care who is the final creative decision on this stuff. I don't. I just think it sucks. I think if this is your best idea, you got to figure out better ideas. It's the same thing every single John Cena appearance. He just gets laid out. It's like, all right, cool. He's laid out again. Yay. It sucks.
Fightful Select has some conversation about a couple of Raw stars discussed for Worlds Collide appearances. Let's go check that out. Your best $5.99 in the business. There's the plug. We got it. We got the Select plug-in. Good for us. But yes, the John Cena stuff, especially that promo, 30 minutes of whatever that was. Cody Rhodes coming out and saying, was I a good champion? And then asking a friend for validation. I was a good champion, damn it.
Cody at least referenced the Rock stuff. Like, I give him credit there.
Yeah, he gave you 3 seconds on a 30-minute promo.
Look, that's 3 more seconds than he'd given the entire build up to WrestleMania. So
I know. I got it.
The bar might be low, but he still jumped over it.
They just got to build the bar up from there. Unfortunately, the bar is including the other 3 participants in this tag match at Money in the Bank. I'm not expecting much.
Huh?
The bar is low, is what I'm trying to say. The bar is low for this tag match too. And we'll get through it. But it's fine. It's fine. It's done. It was 30 minutes of them talking, and hopefully we don't have to sit through a long plotting Money in the Bank tag match. I hope it picks up, and I hope it's a fun match.
This tag match with Cena
and Logan Paul and Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes. It feels like this is the main event. They've said so much on the promo. So at that point, you have to assume that they might tease a cash in with somebody, even though Gunther's going for the world title the next night. Or the 2 nights later on Raw. I know you're really, really excited for that. What if somebody comes and cashes in on John Cena? What if CM Punk wins and then he wins Money in the Bank? Oh, bitch! Now we're cooking. We're in LA. We're gonna run back Cena and Punk from 2011, but this time Punk has the briefcase and he wins the title and he jumps out through the crowd. We're doing it all over again. John Cena upset. He lost his title. There's no reason for it. It's just happening for the sake of doing it. Blowing off the briefcases real quick.
I would actually like if Seth did that. If Seth just cashed in on Cena, and then you can turn Cena back babyface and just admit this whole thing was a failure and give everybody a decent John Cena babyface run. I know I have said all the teases of, turning back baby. Why is he teasing this? He just turned heel. I don't care anymore. This sucks so bad that I'm just like, just give me fun John Cena and everybody cheering and him being happy again, because this current version of John Cena sucks. It all sucks.
It ain't great. I get you. So instead, tonight's Raw, we'll watch. We'll see who qualifies. El Grande Americano is going to win his match tonight. He's gonna climb the ladder to victory, but probably not. Anything you want to plug before we get on out of here?
I legitimately have to go.
Me too.
No.
What a coincidence.
No.
So you're good now? Okay. Leave a thumbs up on the way out. See you tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern. Ladies and gentlemen, friends beyond the binary. We'll see you in the next one.